Like, it almost seems they pulled off our back. Yeah, we're on. It did not like pretty hard. We didn't do very hard all the time.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting for the City of Henderson, Tuesday, April 12th, 2020. If you would stand with me, please, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Vowell?
Here.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Here.
Commissioner Staton?
Here.
Mayor Austin?
Here. We've got a couple of proclamations. We've got two proclamations and a presentation that I'm going to do first of all. And the first proclamation is a Fair Housing Month proclamation. And Tammy and Reverend Johnson, if you could join me up front here.
Fair Housing Month. Whereas the strength of our nation and all of its states flows from the promise of individual equality and freedom of choice. And whereas April 11th, 2022 marks the 54th anniversary of the passage of the U.S. Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended, which enunciates a national policy of fair housing without regard to race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability, and encourages fair housing opportunities for all citizens. And whereas the Community Development Department and Human Rights Commission are committed to highlight the Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 by continuing to address discrimination in our community, to support programs that will educate the public about the right to equal housing opportunities, and to plan partnership efforts with other organizations to help assure every American of their right to fair housing. And whereas on February 3rd, 2012, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, issued a final rule that prohibits discrimination on the basis of actual or perceived sexual orientation, gender identity, or marital status in regards to housing programs assisted by HUD or subject to a mortgage insured by the Federal Housing Administration. And whereas fair housing is the policy of the City of Henderson. Now therefore, Steve Austin, by the virtue of the authority vested in him as mayor of the City of Henderson, does hereby proclaim the month of April 2022 as Fair Housing Month in Henderson, Kentucky, and urges all citizens to join in reaffirming the obligation and commitment to fair housing opportunities for all.
And joining me up front here is Tammy Willett, and Tammy is our HUD and Housing Director, and Reverend Charles Johnson, who is our Human Rights Commission Director, and they do good work for us in this field of business. We appreciate their work and appreciate what they do. And I'll, oops, sorry.
You get a neat picture too.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
It went down.
Donna,
Somewhere, get it.
here, get up here, get
Hey,
it.
John.
Donna, get one
Yeah,
first.
get one with both of them in there. Come on in, Tammy. Get in.
Okay. Great, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right, next proclamation is our community and our commission's support of the Ukrainian people.
In support of Ukrainian people, whereas the people of Ukraine gained their independence from Soviet Russia in 1991, have built a democratic and pluralistic society which allows for freedom of religion and speech, fostering the growth of their rich culture allowing them to take their rightful place in the world stage. And whereas on February 23, 2022, Russian forces, under the direction of Vladimir Putin, launched an invasion of Ukraine, the like of which we have not seen since World War II, killing countless civilians and military personnel, and creating a crisis on a global scale, forcing hundreds of thousands of civilians to flee and blatantly violating international law. And whereas we recognize all those who are fighting for freedom and democracy in Ukraine and all the casualties and sacrifices that are being made by our Ukrainian neighbors. Now, therefore, the Board of Commissioners of the City of Henderson, Kentucky stands in solidarity with all who are experiencing very difficult situations because of this illegal action, and we join other local governments across the United States of America in condemning Russia's aggression. Our thoughts are with the Ukrainian people as they bravely defend their country, their freedom, and their lives.
Okay, next we have a presentation, a service award for firefighter Tad Holmes. And if you will, Tad, if you will join me up at the podium, please, and Mrs. Holmes, you're welcome to as well, and get your picture taken with us.
Tad Holmes started working for the city as a firefighter on March 17, 1997. He was promoted to fire driver engineer on November 28, 2002. Engineer Holmes is a very dependable and reliable asset to this department. He has always been an excellent engineer to turn to for assistance in technical problems with the apparatus and the go-to person for others aspiring to become an engineer. He is a trusted source of ability not only to his fire department, but throughout the emergency services in this area. We are happy to have Tad with us today to thank him for his hard work and dedication to the city with the presentation of this 25-year service pin.
Thank you for your work. We certainly appreciate it. It can be a tough job, but we got tough people to take care of it.
Yeah.
So there's your pin, and thank you for sharing, Tad, with the community.
Okay. I think that we have an appearance of a citizen that wants to come before the board. Mike, is this a good time for you?
Sure.
Okay. If you would, just state your name and you live in Henderson.
I'm Michael Hazelwood. I live in Henderson. 27 years ago, last week, I moved back here and started the EM Forwarding Company of Henderson. I've been in communication with the city administration staff about quoting on the city's insurance business, and I look forward to, I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to working with you guys in July. Thank you.
Now, Mike, I'm a little bit confused. I want to ask you one question, please. Just to make sure that we're clear. Is the insurance business that you're talking about, is it the policy that we have with the Kentucky League of Cities?
Yes.
Or the one that we have through Field and Main Insurance, the partnership that we have with them?
It's a property and casualty insurance that we have spoke about. It is currently with the Kentucky League of Cities.
Kentucky League of Cities. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Is there anyone else here tonight that has anything they want to bring before the commission that's not on the agenda? Seems to be none, so we will move on with the consent agenda where we have 3 sets of minutes and 6 items.
We have the minutes of the April 27th, 2021 regular meeting, the May 6th, 2021 called Joint Water and Sewer Commission meeting, the May 11th, 2021 regular meeting. Resolution number 10-22, resolution granting property reassessment moratorium for the Imperial Group LLC for property located at 110 3rd Street, Henderson, Kentucky. Municipal Order 23-22, municipal order authorizing submittal of a 2022 Waste Tire Market Development Rubberized Asphalt Grant application to the Commonwealth of Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet, Division of Waste Management, for the purchase and application of 12,000 square yards of rubber modified asphalt and aggregate to add an asphalt overlay on a portion of Garden Mile Road from Kentucky 351, known as Zion Road, to Kentucky 812, known as Airline Road, accepting grant if awarded and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents. Municipal Order 24-22, municipal order approving memorandum of understanding between the City of Henderson and the Evansville Area Trails Coalition for the Upgrade Bike Share Program, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city. Municipal Order 25-22, municipal order awarding bids for purchase of limestone, rock, and sand, Group A, to Hazix Construction Company Incorporated of Henderson, Kentucky, Moulder Crushed Stone Incorporated of Tell City, Indiana, and Pine Bluff Materials Company, LLC, Nashville, Tennessee, and recycled concrete, Group B, to Hazix Construction Company Incorporated. Municipal Order 26-22, municipal order awarding bid for mowing, Group A1, City Properties, to Knight's Landscaping of Henderson, Kentucky. Municipal Order 27-22, municipal order awarding bid for mowing of city parks and other properties, Group A2, to Unlimited Lawn Care and Landscaping, LLC of Henderson, Kentucky.
Is there any item that a commissioner would like to pull off of the consent agenda for further discussion? Being none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Mayor Austin?
Next is second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 2 Administration.
Ordinance number 08-22, ordinance amending Chapter 2 Administration, and ordinance amending Article 7 Purchasing, Sales, and Contracts, Section 2-290 Responsibility and Delegation of Authority, Section 2-296 Sealed Bids, and Section 2-302 Sureties and Bonds of Chapter 2 Administration of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson.
Is there a motion to approve second reading, please?
So moved.
There's a second? Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Mayor Austin?
Before we go into the first readings, I want to ask Bill Hubiak, County Engineer Bill Hubiak, to come forward, and your guest there too. And Bill is going to introduce Bill is getting ready to retire pretty soon, and he's going to introduce his replacement.
This is Mr. Nick Stallings. He's a Kentucky boy, so you guys won't have to put up with any more Yankees like me. He's going to be taking over when I leave at the end of June, being the Henderson County Engineer over the Road Department, Parks Department, and the Recycle Center. And I want to thank the Commission for going forward with the joint rubberized asphalt thing. Fiscal Court approved it this morning, so we'll have all the stuff. We'll get everything put together with Dylan, get it sent up to the state. I think it's going to be a very worthwhile project. So almost 5,000 vehicles a day travel that road. We did the traffic count for 3 days, and it's a lot of vehicles, especially with school time. Yeah. So.
Will you come back in 20 years and check that asphalt out and make sure it's still holding up?
We've tried it out.
Those tires in there?
Yeah, we've tried it out now in several places. It's going to take a while for it to prove itself out, but, I mean, with the state match to pay for the rubberized part of it, you're getting a whole road paved for half the money.
Yeah.
And it's a win-win situation. Unfortunately, the county does not have a lot of roads that fit the criteria because of the width they want and the traffic count. We have a lot of low-volume roads, but we can partner with the city here, and we got some that are out close, city-county boundary.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can partner with this and try to utilize this every year, it's a win-win situation for all of us.
Thank you.
This gentleman here will be presenting from this point forward after we get this one, hopefully.
Nick, welcome.
Yep, thank you.
And I know
Thank you all.
we've Nick has been with the state, for how many years?
15.
15 years.
Yeah, I started in
So
Louisville.
we have some familiarity with you, so,
Yes.
congratulations on your new position, and I'm sure that we'll have folks, discussing and talking with you soon.
Absolutely, yeah, hopefully, and then this, rubber modified asphalt's gonna have to, we're gonna have to do something different than just typical asphalt over and over and over.
Uh-huh,
The prices go up and
yeah.
the miles that we're paving are smaller, so, alternative, bids are gonna have to go, start going out. So this
Yeah.
is a good place to start and
Yeah.
give some good data to watch and, and look over.
You think Bill will be around in 20 years? And
Yeah,
he'll probably come back and okay.
He'll come by every morning, see me and
Okay.
talk to a few people, so can't get in that easy.
Bill, I want to personally say that I appreciate our long-term relationship as well as being a former neighbor of yours. It was always interested to be living across the street to see what Bill was always up to in his off time.
Mhm.
But anyway, I think our community has really benefited from your employment. You've done a lot to make our life in Henderson much better. Your parks development, there at the County Road Department, the Sandy Lee Watkins, development is fantastic if nobody's ever been out there. And I'll say this, you're always one of those that think outside of the box and you don't know the word no. It's always full speed ahead, and so Nick, you got a big pair of shoes to fall into, so
Good.
we'll treat you like we do him.
Or better, maybe.
I got the utmost confidence in him.
Well, he knows where to find you.
Yeah.
That's right.
I can't tell him all my secrets.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your
Thank you all.
Okay, we have a first reading of an ordinance amending the zoning for RVs and RV communities.
Ordinance number 09-22, ordinance amending Appendix A zoning. An ordinance amending Article 2 definitions, Section 2.01 definitions, and Article 16 RMH manufactured home district, Section 16.03 conditional uses of Appendix A zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson relating to recreational vehicles and recreational vehicle communities.
This is something that we did discuss in a review, ordinance review, and it has gone to the Planning Commission and been approved. Is there a motion to approve by the City Commission?
So, second?
Motion and a second. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the RVs and RV communities?
Are we just cleaning up some stuff, or has this been an ongoing problem?
Both, I think.
Well, we've been approached by, a individual who is interested in creating an RV park, especially with the Pratt, employees coming in, from out of state, or contractors.
Right,
A
sure.
lot of them use RVs, and we currently don't have a specific RV. They would usually go to Audubon Park, but as you all know, Audubon Park has been closed. So, one of our manufactured home individuals is interested in establishing an RV.
And then we do have some areas where we're gonna try to clean up as well and put to standardize. Yeah.
Kind of, I never realized we didn't have an RV before. So,
Yeah. Well, when Audubon Park was operating, they had a really nice one, but it's been shut down for over 2 years now, I guess. I don't know if it'll ever open up again or not. Maybe so.
I hope so.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Val?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Mayor Austin?
Next, we have a municipal order amending, Order 3321 relating to the purchase of manufactured home.
Municipal Order number 28-22, municipal order amending municipal order 33-21, awarding bid in the amount of $129,900 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom manufactured home located at 217 Meadow Street to include additional cost and increased total purchase amount to $143,046.50.
And the difference is that we had to, the sales tax on this particular project. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Mayor Austin?
These next two items are with our natural gas service, and they are offset by our Delta Regional Grant that we were very fortunate to get. And the first municipal order is awarding the purchase of a natural gas filter system.
Municipal order number 29-22, municipal order awarding bid for the purchase of a natural gas filter system to Parker Hannafin Corporation of Mineral Wells, Texas, in the amount of $56,553.
Is there a motion to approve, please?
Move.
A second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Before,
Whoops.
one of them, we got one of the bidders from Ohio, and he was 300-some thousand, and our lowest bid was at 40,000, and I was just kind of curious, what was he bidding on? Just, you know,
He must have misread the specs or something, and
well, that's a, you know, usually that gap is not that big when we have a bid sent out.
you're right, yeah. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
All right,
Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Mayor Austin?
Next, we have municipal order for purchase of natural gas pipe, pipeline, gas line pipe.
I know it's that time. Municipal order number 30-22, municipal order awarding bid for the purchase of natural gas line pipe to Edgen Murray Corporation of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in the amount of $720,948.80.
And this is, again, it's covered by that Delta Regional Grant, and it is for the RAT project. Is there a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Like everything else, has gone up substantially. Any other questions or comments?
The only comment, Mayor, we're very fortunate that the vendor has the materials in stock and will be able to meet Pratt's construction schedule to get permanent gas by the end of, or in the fourth quarter of 2023.
Good. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
all right.
Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Mayor Austin?
Next is city manager's report.
I have three things. First of all, it's a reminder, we have a work session next Tuesday, and the discussion will be regards to Henderson municipal gas pilot payment. The next item, I'd like to acknowledge the efforts of Dylan and Donna, and with the assistance from GRAD, we have been awarded a $200,000 grant to help with our sports complex construction.
Great.
So,
Good job.
Dylan, and I know Dylan's on the line. Donna, thank you very much for your hard work. Last item pursuant to our last meeting where we discussed the entertainment district, I've asked Teresa Ritchie to pull together the estimated cost to implement the program. And if Teresa, if you don't mind at this time, could you present that information?
Bill's gonna get the slide shared, so soon you can see it. While he's doing that, I wanna apologize in advance if I start a coughing fit.
I went to the doctor a week and a half ago, and I told him my hip was all stopped up, and it had been for over a month or two, and he said, told me what to take, and he said, this'll get it moving, and he was not wrong, and now it's all draining, so I do apologize if I start coughing. Apparently. All right, somebody want to tell me how to do this?
On the side, turn it on.
Oh, that would be beneficial, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Before I get to the budget that Buzzy asked me to kind of put together, we wanted to share with you all that after the last meeting, someone thought about an area that was not included in the original map, and that is the tennis courts, or at least a portion of the tennis courts. So we spoke with some of the tennis club members. They met about it at their monthly meeting and have asked to be included in the boundaries of the entertainment destination center. So the blue area from the depot parking lot down to Washington Street has been added as a proposed map boundary. And it has some benefits, but it also has some disadvantages. One benefit is that the tennis club hosts several different tennis championships there. They're having this year's adult 55 and over state championship on June 3rd through the 5th. So it would open them up to be able to take advantage of the entertainment district center if you all choose to go forward with this. One of the things that we will, or you will, need to consider is that since they have matches during the day and the evening, we'll have to get with the participating restaurant vendors to see what their willingness is, at what time they would want to start manning the exit points, which would determine what time that the EDC could be open during their events. One of the disadvantages is it adds another one of those nice little red exit points. So it takes us up to 7 exit points now that would have to be manned at every event that the EDC is open. And what we have to remember is that once and if that area is added to the boundaries, it'll be open every time the EDC is open, not just when the tennis club has an event that they're requesting the EDC to be open. So that 7th point would be at every event.
Does the tennis club understand that, Teresa, that they would have to be open at every
No,
event?
they will not have to be open, but it was explained to them that that area would be open
Okay,
as a part of, even if they were not having an event.
okay.
So they were made aware of that, yes.
Thank you.
I would assume that you probably had this conversation with them, but, has a conversation been had with them that, to include them, that they would need to, help staff that particular entry-exit point?
We talked with them about it. We said at this point, the staffing was going to be provided by the restaurant service providers. I don't know, we would have to ask them if that would be a make or break of whether or not they wanted to be included. The point is, I would be sure that they would have no problem wanting to help man it when they're having an event.
Right.
Right.
But I don't think that they would be willing probably to man it at every time the EDC was open. So
Well, that would make sense, yeah.
so, but we would have to have more discussions with them. But for your consideration, they have said that they would not be opposed to adding that. So before, when Buzzy asked me to do this, I broke down the budget into a couple areas, one being personnel costs. We have the salaries, which I base just for this purpose on a grade 14, so it could be a little low depending upon what staff position ended up assuming these duties, and I based the estimates on 6 months of the year. For the regular pay, it would mainly be administrative paperwork, pre-event supply delivery, sanitation set up, estimated 5 hours a week. It would be less, obviously, on weeks whether we're not gonna be events. It would be a little top-heavy on the front end, getting all the paperwork done with the restaurants, and then overtime would be for the full-time monitor, and sanitation estimated at 20 hours per event. And that's what this looks like. What I did is, again, I based it on the grade 14 salary, took that at the 5 hours a week for 6 months to get what the regular hour salary would be, and 20 hours per event at 10 events to get the estimated overtime, and then adjusted FICA, Medicare, unemployment, and pension just on those amounts that do directly correlate with the hours spent on the EDC. And then for the projection out to 2026, I did the 3% combined cost of living and merit increase per year. Supplies, and this is a little hard to see, but the supplies that we included were the cups, recycled containers, safety vests, the Tyvek wristband, banner flags, if you all chose to put banners to help define what the EDC boundaries are going to be, and the annual license. That's what this looks like. We did 12,000 cups, 12 recycled containers, and then the cost goes down for the 4 consecutive years. I just estimated replacing maybe 2 containers a year for damage. 12 safety vests, and those things I'm sure are going to get lost, so I went ahead and replaced all of them. It was a small cost. And 5,000 of the wristbands and 10 banner flags, with potentially half of those having to be replaced per year. And then we have the annual license, and right now that's the set rate. We don't have any idea how much that's going to go up. And then for the 2023 through 2026, I projected the increase at about a 2.5% annual inflation rate. So the whole thing altogether kind of looks like this, with an estimated cost for the entertainment district per year being, for the first year, $21,613. So if you have any questions on how I come up with calculations, I'll be happy to answer them. If you can think of anything that has been excluded from this budget, I'd be happy to redo that and include any other items, but that's all we have for now.
You did a great job. I kind of thought it was gonna come in much higher than that.
I do too.
Yeah, you said 21. That might be doable for us.
And I'm assuming that this doesn't include any money that we would receive back for cups or...
No, we
bracelets.
chose not to do that, to show the entire cost
Sure.
of estimated, obviously, because just like anything, we know that we're gonna run into things that we didn't account for, cost-wise, but, we chose to do it that way, and then, if we go forward with this, it would give you a basis to decide what you would want to do with cups and how you would want to charge for them if you choose for the restaurant providers to purchase the cups from the city.
I just want to echo Commissioner Pruitt, so you did a really good job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Very good.
It's also based on 6 months, right?
Based on 6 months, yes.
Theoretically, you're only gonna get 4.5 to 5.
And I went ahead
So
and...
that would be over probably anyway. Cheaper than that.
I think, you got anything that we missing, because it's closer to your field? Anything you can add, or you think we need?
The only thing that gives me pause is everybody coming up with manpower to man these exits. And what kind of liability is on us if, say, my employee is working this one exit and somebody wants to bring a cooler in, he says no, and they say yes. There's a confrontation.
Well, that does bring up one thing, and I kind of skipped over it in the sake of trying to get through this before I start coughing, but there is a salary cost that I did not include, and that would be a decision on whether or not we want to have a security person down there full-time, and then if that would be an on-duty officer or an off-duty officer, which would, on-duty would raise those regular hours, but they would be working anyway, but, an off-duty would raise the overtime cost. So I didn't include that in the salaries, but that is you all's consideration for things just like that, so that our mind, ready
Yeah,
to,
personally, I'd like to see that in there.
And I think we might get entice, you know, some off-duty, especially young officers to working and make some overtime. We really need one down there at least.
if it's okay then with you all, I can include, on, just for sake of an estimate, get with, Chief McKinney and get an average pay rate for his officers and include that at 8 hours per event we'll do it to start with as an on-duty officer and I can do it actually both ways. I can do it as an on-duty and an off-duty and email you all the
Yeah.
revised.
We will need to meet with Chief. What's that, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And Rodney, should we look at this being a scheduled 5-month-a-year program or 4-month-a-year program, or leave it at a
No, I'd leave it at 6, because you can get some good weather sometimes in April.
Well, I think when we discussed this, is it would be year-round, but, there would be few events out of the summer months. I know that Oval would like to do the art hop, and the art hop is in November, but when we were trying to estimate, you know, we felt like 6 months was, you know, in a regular year, but there may be something at Christmas, that,
Yes, they have that.
if they have an after-hours shopping night, that they may want to open the entertainment district one Saturday. So what we had anticipated was just to do it year-round, but you have to get a permit.
Right. It's also based on how many events you're going to have.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Good. Okay. Any other questions or comments for Teresa or Buzzy or Dawn?
Nice job.
Good job, Teresa.
Thank you.
Right.
All right.
Dawn's up.
I'm finished.
Next on our agenda is a brief ordinance review on the schedule of regulations.
This is gonna be the easiest thing to do all night long. So, a little history. In 1979, the city adopted side yard setbacks for multiple family residence districts. So that would be your large apartment buildings. This is what it looks like. So, this was in the actual appendix, Rodney, you're familiar with the appendix, how we do that. And so this is how it was written. So it was a side yard setback of 8 feet, for 2-story, 10 feet for 3-story, 12 feet for 4-story. So we're gonna go forward to 1988, when they revised the, ordinance, the schedule, but got left out. So, it has a side yard setback for 1 and 2 family dwellings, but as you can see, it drops off the setback for the multiple family dwellings. So, it was inadvertently left out of the text. It was really a Scribner's error back in 1989. So, we need to clean it up. And so what we discussed is we don't even need to include side yard separate for 1 and 2 family dwellings since they're all the same. So what we would like to do is send this to the planning commission. That step 4 is going to be, these side yard setbacks, in, the minimum side yard setbacks. So, it's really just a cleanup. It was inadvertently left out in 1989, and honestly, no one's needed it until this year, when, Steve, brand new on the job, gets the phone call, well, what's the side yard setback for a 3-story
multifamily, and it's just gone. So, anyway, as you know, ordinance, we need for you all to make a recommendation to send it to Planning Commission for review, and then it'll come back to you upon Planning Commission's recommendation, so.
Is there a motion to, for that recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Staton?
Aye.
Mayor Austin?
Commissioners, updates and reports, Commissioner Thomas, anything?
Nothing today.
Commissioner Vowles?
The chamber dinner was last night, and the mayor took home one of the prized awards, Heart of Downtown.
He did, yeah.
I just want to say congratulations again.
Thank you, I appreciate
Well
it.
deserved.
Very well deserved.
Thank you, appreciate that. Big surprise. Commissioner Pruitt, anything?
Yeah, I just want to thank this commission for Ukraine support. You know, I know we all praying for Ukraine, but going on the record makes it official how we feel. If one is still in struggle, then we all really still in struggle. And the truth be told, this is probably the start of World War III. We may not be here if it hits, but I do think it's the start. With, back to the Cold War times and with Russia separate from everybody else. I think we're in it right now. I just thank you guys for support.
Commissioner Staton, anything?
I do, yeah, it's, I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Back in 2017, we had just wrapped up the riverfront, or the majority of the riverfront development. There were lots of things going on at the city, but, as compared to today, not as much. So we made the decision back then to, and we were transitioning between city managers. And so we made the decision back then to get rid of the assistant city manager position off the books. I've made just a brief list of a lot of the things that we've got going on now. We've got the ongoing Pratt development. We've got, later on this year, we're going to break ground on I-69, the development of a new sports complex. We're looking at some very large potential residential developments, the need for recruitment and retention activities and employee morale happens to be more now than it ever has been. Working with our utility companies to make sure that we have a plan to produce electricity. And what I'm getting at is these are all very, very large and involved things that we are asking city management to do as a board of commissioners. And for that reason, and also in talking with our current city manager, just trying to feel out how long we can have them. You know, I think hopefully Buzzy will be here for a few more years, but we will have some succession planning that needs to be in place as well. And so for those reasons, I'd like for us to consider bringing back the assistant city manager position. Because I really think we're putting more on Buzzy's shoulders now than we've ever put on a city manager since I've been in city government. And I don't know if it's the same way for you, Mayor, since you started 12 years ago, but I would venture to say it would rival any period that we've ever been in terms of busyness and the amount of work. I've got kind of a plan that I've spoken with a few of you about. If we are to bring back the assistant city manager position, what I'd like to consider is to have somebody in place by January 1st, which would be halfway through our next fiscal year. And that's the reason I'm bringing it up now, because we would have to budget for that person in our budgets that we're putting together now. It would look something like we would need to first reestablish the position, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe we voted to abolish the position from our roles. So we would have to reestablish the position, and then sometime in early fall, start advertising for the position. Buzzy would then do interviews mid to late fall, and then would come back to the commission sometime the end of November, beginning of December timeframe for a January 1st start date, if you all are agreeable to doing that. And I know it's a big ask, but I really feel like now, for those reasons more than ever, we need that position in place. And so I wanted to bring that up today to see if there is a general consensus moving forward, so that we can kind of set that in motion.
yes for me.
Yeah, personally, I like the idea.
I see what's going on and see what the pressure that's on, our administrative staff and with all of the different options and opportunities we have, and I'm in agreement.
Yeah, we got too many positives going forward. We need to have a succession plan.
Yeah, and too, like you said, I hope Buzzy be here for the next 20 years, you never know, but right now, we have got a lot going on for at least the next 8 years.
My goodness, yes.
And, whenever Buzzy decides to leave, it would be nice to have somebody that's familiar with what's going on, so we don't have any hiccups to slide right on in and continue on what we're doing. I was one of the biggest, person back in the day, because we didn't have much going on. There wasn't a whole lot going on. One of the main things I think, assistant city manager could help us with is our energy. What's gonna be our energy policy for the people of Henderson? How do we go forward and keep it low? How do we not be like veterans, the new name center, what is Center Point? How do we not have our citizens, protesting, utility bills, I heard up to 270% higher than they were. You know, those are the type of things that person could really be a liaison and target that, so making sure that we can still afford to live here in Henderson. So I think there's places that he could do to alleviate Buzzy, and Buzzy can get back to just basically overseeing the city and him doing a whole lot of the footwork, and whenever he decides that he's ready to go into retirement, we have somebody to have a smooth transition right into it. I'm on board with it.
Yeah, I'd echo the same comments. I also know, we've had a lot of, kind of our top staff turnover recently, so, I know that makes it harder on you to do your job when you're trying to make sure those people, also have to do their job in their new roles, so the more we can do some succession planning, better off we'll be.
Good deal. So whatever that means, it sounds like we have a consensus.
Yeah.
And so I guess, Buzzy, it would be up to you to sort of fine tune that plan to whatever it would take, or whatever makes sense to you to have somebody in place by January 1st.
We will, work on that and include that in the upcoming budget, and then time goes by, we can update y'all where we stand with the job description, et cetera.
Okay.
And I also think it is very important, succession planning, whether it's at the top level or the middle management, and even down into the rank and file of all our employees are very critical to keeping the operation going and working well. So, on behalf of management and our employees, we thank y'all for supporting succession planning and realizing how important it is. So, thank you.
I just want to say one more thing. Robert, you can't retire till I retire. We're not getting another person, but you still staying, just hanging around. Don't go anywhere.
And talking about that succession planning, we have done that very well in our utilities, all three of our utilities. And it's been needed in all three of our utilities as we move forward. So, it's worth the time, the effort, and the investment. Okay. And, Dawn and Buzzy, let us know what we need to do at some point in time if we need to do something. Okay. We have a need to go into, is there anything else that we've got? Anybody got anything? We have a need to go into executive session. Is there a motion, please?
I move that the commission go into executive session for the purpose of discussion of pending litigation against the city of Henderson pursuant to
Actually, threatened litigation.
Threatened litigation against the city of Henderson pursuant to KRS 61.810, paragraph 1, subsection C, and pursuant to KRS 61.810, paragraph 1, subsection B, for the purpose of deliberation on the possible purchase of property located in the vicinity of US Highway 41 North, US Highway 60 East, and Barrett Boulevard.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. I don't think we're gonna need to come back and take any action today. But we will, we are now in executive.
I need to do roll call, or you need to say that everybody dies. Everybody, aye.
Yeah.
Why don't we do Missy's first?
Okay, oh, wait a minute.
Why?
Read my mind.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor of going into executive session, aye? Aye. Okay.
All right.
Hey, hold your checkbook.